Gibbs on the left, Scott Eisenhower on the right. Gibbs with an impressive victory in round one, a hard-fought victory over Les Zolman.
He certainly did, and it was a long match too. It was the opening match of round one, and they both put on a good show. George is a very competitive guy, and most of his matches usually last quite a while, which you wonder sometimes, Phil, whether that's going to show later on in the contest.
Scott Eisenhower of Roy, Utah, providing Gibbs with all he can handle here in round two.
You know, sometimes, Phil, how these guys, they get to a position, it looks like they're jockeying to get a better grip, or they're jockeying to rest a little bit and maybe get a little bit of a leverage advantage, but you have to be careful because all of a sudden the other one might show a spurt of energy, as you just saw.
And a burst of emotion from George Gibbs.
I love it. I love it when these guys get excited. You know, they're like football players scoring a touchdown or something like that. And a victory is a victory. Look at the impressive way that he wins here with that wrist over the top, just like you hear all the time, over the top, and that's what it's all about.
John Brezink, Sr. on the left. He lost in very short order in round one, and he is a loser again here to John Woolsey.
Well, John Brezink lost in round one, as you said, so this eliminates him. And John, of course, of the famous father and son combination with the champion junior coming up later, just unfortunately loses, and he's out of the competition.
Sean Caroline up against John Walker. Walker, the winner in round one.
Johnny never looks at his opponent.
All right, shoulder back.
Always stares off
right
somewhere else.
Center. Okay, that's where I want it. All right.
Caroline of Phoenix, Arizona. This is only his 4th year of arm wrestling.
Stay shoulder back, keep it there.
And he's going against
One,
the master.
Two, go.
Oh, man. They had a slip there, but the victory will go to John Walker as the referee, Bob Campreger, concluded that the hand slipped once Walker had his wrist into the cushion.
Yeah, I have to look at that again. You see there, it doesn't really show whether the slip was before. There it does. There it shows. The slip was after the pin.
This is Steve Adder, a relative newcomer to the sport in only his 2nd year as he goes up against the defending champion, John Brezink Jr. Now, Brezink has a long, long history of arm wrestling. His dad was a champion for so many years. And let's take you back to 1987, right here at the Imperial Palace in Las Vegas, the championship match. Brezink on the left, John Walker at the age of 41 a year ago, as they got set to lock hands. And it appeared as if Brezink just toyed with them for a moment and then laid the wrist into the cradle. Brezink's hand raised in victory.
Well, with John, it's always arm wrestling. He seems to think that's more beneficial to him than weightlifting, you know, spa, whatever. But lately we've got him into a body training, you know, bodybuilding, because you've got to be in condition to do something like arm wrestling. So if you are in condition, your arm wrestling comes a little easier.
I've given myself a couple-week break before this tournament. You know, you never know until you get up there on the table and start arm wrestling how you feel. Sometimes you feel good and you don't do well, and then other times.
Shoulder back.
Al Brezink looking for his 3rd consecutive top prize here at the AWI Professional Arm Wrestling Championships. Oh, look at the way he laid Steve Adder down.
There was no nonsense there, I think, Phil. That was almost too quick. He's not going to get any wear and tear if he wins most of his matches like this, but down the line, he's going to have to face some of the heavyweights in this division, the real power guys like John Walker. Maybe they'll meet again this year.
He's got to work it down here.
This is Jim Woolsey and Terry Bush. Bush of La Mirada, California.
No, right there. Too high.
Jim has one loss already, Phil, so one more, and he's out of the tournament.
Well, Bush is a veteran. He has been arm wrestling on the professional level for 10 years.
Right now. You're right over
but he has drawn a pretty tough customer. Woolsey has been at it 14.
Stay there. Wait for go. Ready? 1, 2, go.
Well, look at the stress. Bulging bicep belongs to Bush. Woolsey trying desperately to pull him to the cushion. But it is Bush who gets it there first.
That was a pretty even match. Pretty even match. Jim gave it a valiant effort. You look here, and you look where the advantage is, and once you get in this position, it's almost inevitable that you're going to go down. It's very hard to come back from this position. You can see the grimace in the faces. Here, Jim is just fighting for everything he has.
Oh, Bush goes to 2-0 in the competition. Jim Woolsey is now out. This is Mike Rupert of Norfolk, Nebraska.
Still on his side.
And Gary Goodrich, who has a great chance, Tom Flores, of perhaps unseating Brzezinski in this tournament.
A physics teacher, and no doubt he probably is very cerebral and very physical. No wonder he comes in here with high credentials. Very impressive, wasn't he? Look at this. Speed and thrust, power.
Now Goodrich giving Mike Rupert a lesson in young ladies seeking to become a legend in professional arm wrestling. And the lady at the bottom of that list, our defending champion, Angela Phillips. By virtue of her defending champion status, this is her first action here in 1988. This is round 2 competition. And Angie will take on Bonnie Dome.
Bonnie's from Wrightsville, Pennsylvania. She's a 5th-year veteran. Credit manager. What do you think? Do you think anybody argues with her when they have a payment due?
Well, you look at the physique of the lady on your left, Angie Phillips, and you feel she could just about do anything she sets her mind to. Now let's take you back a year ago. Leanne Barker in the cup against Angie Phillips. This was the championship match. And quick work, Angie Phillips receives a hug from the Canadian Leanne Barker.
It's very much a mental thing for me. I get up there and I just imagine myself winning the way I know I can. I do exactly what I've practiced every time. And I feel by doing that, there's a good possibility of me coming through again.
Angela, in her 9th year of arm wrestling, she began at the age of 14. She's from Phoenix, Arizona.
Keep it back. Stay right. Keep it back.
These gals certainly are lovely gals, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Ready? 1, 2, go.
Winner.
Quick work. The defending champion has got her first victory here in round 2 of the competition.
Well, we'll watch it in slow motion, and it won't take long in slow motion, and you can imagine how much time it took in actual live action. Look at the leg, as it's wrapped around on the next competitor.
This is Terry Utley, and she is wrestling against the sister team of Sally and Susanna Johnson. This is Susanna. She's 19 years of age.
You think she's intense? She's looking up, trying to psych herself up. Most of these gals and guys, they do psych themselves up before the competition. Watch the wrists as they turn. Oh, it's all over. It's all over. Sometimes if your arm is kind of short and the meaty part hits the pad first and it's over before the wrist actually gets very far. You can see here.
Well, Terry Utley, who beat Sally Johnson in round 1, whips her sister here in round 2. And now you are looking at Kathy Dudley as she sets to go against Jenny Sendwick of Bismarck, North Dakota.
Okay, stay right there. Ready? 1, 2, go.
Well, as she did in round 1, Dudley makes quick work of Sendwick here in the 2nd round.
She certainly did, and before the home crowd. Everybody really likes Kathy here because she's from Las Vegas, works here, and is a very proven veteran in competition. Here she is. Here's a sweetheart, Julie Stanley.
You see her standing on that crate. She's only 4'11". She lost in round 1, but I'll tell you what, you hit it right on the head, Tom, when you said she is the sweetheart here in Las Vegas. She's everybody pulling for. And her opponent is Kathy French of Oroville, California, 33 years of age. She is a massage therapist.
She's got boots. I tell you, when she wrestles, her feet hardly touch. I don't know how she gets any leverage from her legs because I think one toe is barely touching. Maybe we can get a shot of this later on in the competition.
Yep. Both of you stay right there.
Stanley lost in round 1 to Leanne Barker.
1, 2, go.
This is a double elimination tournament. Stanley must win to stay alive. And she is having trouble here with Kathy French.
Uh-oh.
Whoa,
Hey.
take a look at that.
All right. What a great comeback. She was at a disadvantage. That's tough to come back from that position. Let's watch it again, slow motion. Here, she just gives it a thrust. Very impressive.
So after 2 rounds, Stanley and French are both now 1-1. This is 15-year-old Jennifer Monk. She and her mother here from Omaha, Nebraska.
Good. Watch your shoulders.
And Jennifer has got to win here in round 2 to stay alive. She is 0-1, and she has drawn a very, very tough customer in Brenda Vergette of Alberta, Canada. In round 1, Vergette beat Jennifer's mother, Marcia. Oh, and she makes quick work of the daughter today.
She certainly did. And I think, you know, for Jennifer, young Jennifer, this is just a taste of what's to come in future years. It's pretty tough on a gal. All the pressures involved for a young teenager like that. First competition. This is good for her. Brenda, of course, is an experienced pro and a former champion.
And, Tom, the cushion has hardly cooled when Jennifer's mother, Marcia Monk, now steps to the table to lock hands with Sally Johnson. Both of these young ladies 0-1 in the competition. The loser here will be sidelined for 1988.
Well, Marcia is a former champion herself. She won the state and national tournaments in the past. And she has to it's tough on her. She has to put all the previous match out of her mind when she saw her young daughter disappointed. This should be a pretty good match. These gals are even, pretty even. The power lock, you can see the power lock, the wrist locked so that they can't slip. Marcia wins it.
Mom has got a victory to even her mark at 1-1, while Sally Johnson has been eliminated through 2 rounds.
Marcia is such a nice competitor. You know, she couldn't believe it in the first round when she lost.
2 rounds, take a look. A rather impressive list of undefeated men's professionals. And, Tom, this is where you begin to separate the contenders from the pretenders.
Yes, it is. It's do or die for some of these contestants. If they have 1 loss, then they're fighting for their lives just to stay alive in this competition.
Now, 2 guys who are undefeated will square off right here. George Gibbs, victories over Zolman and Eisenhower. And John Walker at the age of 42, he is also 2-0, and he loves coming to Las Vegas. Says he wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Well, I had a chance to meet a lot of people, a lot of friends, and made a lot of friends with football players and people in the hotel, you know, all together. Just home away from home, really.
I feel like I'm this way.
Well, I'm going to move you over, okay? I'm going to put you right here. There's center.
Walker
right
on the right, Gibbs on the left.
Ready, 1, 2, go!
And it is John Walker who pins previously undefeated George Gibbs. Boy, he made that look easy, Tom.
Yeah, he certainly did. I was kind of surprised. I thought this would be a much better match. But I guess John Walker's home away from home is pretty comfortable right now.
Well, he's certainly been at it long enough. This is his 14th year. And now stepping to the table, it is Les Zolman of Whittier, California, and Tony Cook. Both of these competitors 1-1. The loser will take a hike.
That's right. I love to watch Tony's facial expressions because before the match starts, as he preps himself, boy, does he tense up. The facial expressions are great, and he is a great competitor.
Ready, 1, 2, go!
Oh, how the tide turned.
Tony Cook, what a great comeback. I couldn't believe that. I can't believe he came back from that deficit. He was way down and almost pinned. Watch it in slow motion from the overhead. And all of a sudden he comes back. His elbow is almost out of the cup, but he manages to pin him. What a great comeback.
From the brink of elimination, Tony Cook moves on to the 4th round. And this is Todd Damasio of Mesa, Arizona. He's 23 years of age. He's been arm wrestling for 7 years. And Todd will take on Terry Bush. Boy, you look at upper body strength, Tom, and you quickly realize that much of that is absolutely eliminated here. It is an explosive movement that provides victories here in this competition.
It certainly is. It's in the hands and the wrists, forearms, and in the explosion of the bicep. Let's listen to these guys.
Stay there. Don't move. Stay. Don't move.
Ready, 1, 2, go!
watched the master trying to slam it down. All he has to do is any part of the arm touches. It was kind of confusing there. I know he said, hey, I won. The arm touched. But he had to wait for a decision. Here it is from the overhead, and you can see here, all you have to do is get any part of the arm to touch that pad, and you've won.
So Damasio from Mesa, Arizona will move on, and now you look at John Brzezinski Jr., our defending champion. He is 1-0. He had a bye in round 1, and he'll go up against John Woolsey. Woolsey beat John's father earlier in the competition, also defeated Terry King, and you wonder, is there a way to relax before you step to the table? Woolsey has a plan.
You can burn up so much energy just with the tension and the anticipation. That's just incredible, you know, so the more you can relax up to the point of your match, the lot better off you are.
I don't know, Tom Flores, if Woolsey's going to find any way to relax against John Brzezinski, defending champion.
Well, I guarantee you better not relax too much, or it's over. John Brzezinski Jr. is such an impressive competitor. I mean, he is so quick and explosive. You know, it seems like the men against the boys sometimes, and that's with due respect to John Woolsey.
Take a look at Gary Goodrich on your right. He is undefeated through 2 rounds, as is Ron Bath. Bath from Roswell, Georgia, in his 8th year of arm wrestling competition. But Goodrich, unquestionably one of the favorites. This is only Gary's 3rd year in professional arm wrestling.
That's right, and Gary already has attained a pretty good reputation. He's one of the favorites coming in to unseat the champion. And you can see right there, with the power and the explosion that he had, he downs his opponent. Ron goes down in defeat. Gary's very impressive, and you can see why he's one of the favorites today. Look at it from the overhead. He gets the advantage right off the start, and then from then on, it's just sheer power. 210 pounds of power, explosive power.
The 3rd victory in a row for Gary Goodrich, still very, very much alive, and that top prize of $1,500. And now set the lockup. Ray Darling, undefeated, against Andreas Solinger.
You guys keep moving and jacking around. Let's just get a nice grip, and I'll put you in a paralyzed position, all right? Right here. Move these things.
Virgil's getting a little testy there.
He is getting a little testy. That's the 3rd man on the table.
Ready? 1, 2, go.
And there's Ray Darling. Oh, if he came all the way from Pettenbach, Austria, to take that pin, Andreas Solinger could have saved his airfare.
Oh, that was so impressive. He was so quick. They don't even give you a chance to straighten up in your seat here. They look at the speed that he shows.
Now we have completed 3 rounds of the men's professional arm wrestling competition. And when we're the 3rd round of the pro women's competition, it is Utley, Dudley, and Brenda Vergette, all 2-0. The defending champion, Angela Phillips, 1-0 after drawing a bye in the opening round. And little Julie Stanley, certainly the crowd favorite, is 1-1. Maria Bataloni and Marcia Monk will square off. And Tom Flores, what are they doing right here?
Well, this is Marcia Monk, and she has her little platform that she brings with her, and it looks like it's specially made for her. It's so that she can get up a little higher on the table, and she feels that it's going to give her better leverage amongst, you know, against some of the taller gals, and a lot of it has to do with the height of these gals. Some of them wear the real heavy high-lift shoes, too.
Now, Marcia, as you mentioned, is only 5'4", while her opponent here in round 3 is 5'6". Maria Bataloni is a bellhop right here in Las Vegas. Both of these ladies 1-1 in this double elimination tournament.
Load up, Marcia. Stay right there. So, stay right there.
Marcia's daughter, Jennifer Monk, already eliminated. And Marcia will move on, yes.
Marcia always has a little comment for her opponent, win or lose. Good sport, tough competitor. Here she is. She has the wrist completely turned over, and I think the first thing to hit the pad is one of the fingers.
Tom, I'm surprised we don't see more wrists or forearms giving way in this competition.
You would think so because of the stress.
This is Susanna Johnson. She and her sister Sally Johnson, both of Plano, Texas, here this week as she goes up against Kathy French of Oroville, California.
Don't pull. Don't load up, honey. Just set up right here. Just don't load.
You're hearing the voice of referee Gene Celeste, a former
Don't edge up.
national champion herself.
Back it up. Back it up. Both of you stay right where you're at. You guys are exerting a lot of strength for nothing because I'm not going to let you start until you're ready. Back it up.
Keep the shoulder right
Back it up.
Right there. Right there. Don't move.
On the left. Keep the shoulder still.
Okay.
Ready? 1, 2, go.
She's rolling out. I'm not pulling her out. She's doing it.
Kathy French facing the camera, telling referee Jean Celeste that Susanna Johnson is out of the grip, that her hand is slipping out.
Kathy French wins. It was pretty doubtful there for a minute that the match was going to continue because everything was slipping. Let's look at the overhead and look at the position of Suzanne Johnson's arm. There was no question that she wasn't going to win that match.
Now this should be an outstanding matchup. You're looking at the defending champion in black, Angela Phillips, and the 1982 Canadian champion Brenda Vergette, both undefeated here. Angie Phillips saying something about Brenda doing something in the grip.
Don't load and don't pull.
Angela is not only the champion, she's also the tallest gal in the competition, 5'7".
Roll it into the collar.
But look at those upper arms.
Ready? 1, 2, go.
Oh. Angie Phillips embracing Brenda Vergette. Angie remains undefeated, while Brenda Vergette now drops to 2-1.
You don't think Angela Phillips is competitive? You saw that little jump when she left the stage. Here's an overhead view. Strength, speed. She is really, really playing and wrestling like a true champion.
I don't think they care. Let her use it.
Leanne Barker and Terry Utley. Utley, a receiving clerk from West Covina, California, a suburb of Los Angeles. Boy, Barker, you go back a year ago, she won the Canadian championship.
Don't move your shoulders. Stay right there. Ready? 1, 2, go.
Quick work for Leanne Barker as she wins her second match of the competition.
You can see here on the overhead, Leanne makes a pin, but she really doesn't get the arm over too far. It just touches down by the elbow, and it's all over.